Help protect us from racism and xenophobia by becoming an I Love Black People ambassador today. Join on iloveblackpeople.com. No matter where you are in the world, join us today and get access to the I Love Black People network. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of I Love Black People, and where we're so thankful and grateful for all the work and support that we get from all our wonderful friends. And we appreciate everything that's being done to uplift our people through this love that we've been a part of and definitely continue to be inspired by. And, we've been discussing, over the last few episodes, our journey in the startup. As you know, I Love Black People is more than a radio show. We're literally a tech startup, and we've been building in many ways now for about 10 years as it relates to liberating our people through technology and in many ways something we call Pan African unity. And again, when we're talking about this journey, and I want to share as much as possible of some of the things that we've done to get to this place, and even talk about the things that we're actually doing right now, because it's very critical to kind of connect the dots. And again, appreciate everyone who's continued to help as it relates to sharing information with us on how we can better improve this journey for our people and to literally make the world that we want to live in. And so part of that conversation has been wrapped in what we're doing, and with our app, the I Love Black People Safe Places app. We're about to do official launch October 4th, where now we're literally, after all the years of support from you and development, we went from, again, starting off in the Bitcoin space, where we were literally solving a problem of the colonial or colonized cross-border payments, using all kinds of again, we call it neo-colonialism, but it's still the same construct. Uh, Capitalism is a cousin of colonialism, in the fact that we, again, this is not about some type of collective. It's literally, in many ways, the current system is exploitive, and we use technology as a way to um, push through that in a real strong way. And that's how our origin story. We started off literally as Bitmari, leveraging technology called blockchain, and with the most popular, most prolific application of it being Bitcoin, to help brothers and sisters send money back and forth between the United States and Zimbabwe. And that was our focus. And from there, we ended up evolving to realizing that there was more than just a problem with transactions. That the ability to move value across the world was being hindered by a system of oppression and a duopoly, MoneyGram, Western Union. Now we have World Remit, but that wasn't as big then. And so we see ourselves in a transition, and out of that uh, startup, we also realized that we needed our community to understand this particular technology. So we came up with the uh, transatlantic bus tour, which took place in 2017. Of course, it was disrupted a little bit with a coup in Zimbabwe in the middle of the transatlanticness of it all. And then from there, we pivoted to I Love Black People, where we literally, the app was more than just about connecting our ability to cross borders, but literally connecting us as a Pan African collective across all these borders. And when I say cross borders, that's a term that's often used in with financial technology or fintech, where you're sending money from one regulatory group to another regulatory group in a country. And as we've learned, these countries were created by human beings. They weren't created by God. They divide us up, and most of all the divisions in Africa were literally prescribed in many ways by the colonizers that controlled us and our people for 500 some years. Now, I will say 500 years is definitely not the total length of the existence of our people. Literally, as African people, we have what they call primacy. We in no way support, espouse black supremacy or any supremacy or any ethnocentristic beliefs that allow us to harm or to diminish each other. But we will say that as African people, we have what we call primacy. The first civilized people are in Africa. Those are our family members that we descended from, and in many ways, those tens of thousands of years will never be disrupted by 500 years, even no matter how hard they try or have tried. So that's a civility, that humanity that has grown for tens of thousands of years, even though it's been disrupted by 500 so years, and the carving or the creation, the partitioning of the world into these country states or nation states doesn't, it will not prevent us from reconnecting and rebuilding the world that we've had. We were born in, that was created originally for us. So again, we tell our people always stay encouraged. The current spaces we're in is going to change, and we got to be the change that makes it happen. And so was when we once we moved towards I Love Black People, the app, it was really something that allowed us to see uh it's really the people, it's really the brains, the hearts and the soul of our people that's key, and that the tech is just a part of the infrastructure, but we're really what leads this. And even though people talk about artificial intelligence, which unfortunately a lot of these large language models have been in many ways, maybe I'd say misogynistically and eurocentrically created. uh those things can be never be as powerful as our natural spiritual intelligence. And I don't think we should be at odds or in conflict with these the artificial intelligence or so-called AI. I think again, living in a digital world with the internet, utilizing tools that allow us to rapidly access information, probably faster than ever, is probably useful. Many people don't remember the Dewey Decimal System. If I say that, you're probably dating yourself, or the card catalog. And so once we went from an analog world where we literally had to go to a place called a library, which was not some files on your computer, but a library was a physical building where you had to have a library card. And in order to uh, read books at home, you had to check them out. And if you didn't bring the book back in time, you had late fees assessed to you. So this whole concept was, again, slowed down progress in a way. Now, I think many of us romanticize how serious we were with research. And again, as an engineering student, you think about how much time was spent going to different research libraries and microfiche, all these things. But once we moved further through the digital age, now access to information was much different. The days of going to a physical building no longer existed, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I remember people used to say there'd be people in the bathroom libraries doing weird stuff, and all the anxiety about getting the books back on time, and all kind of weird stuff that you connected to the library experience no longer are relevant because they became obsolete. And I don't mean obsolete like they were bad. It's just like the horse and buggy versus the car. The people who made cars did not start killing horses. It literally became just demonstrably better to use a car than a horse. And so those folks who were invested or vested in using horses, and more by and by became less, relevant. And those who were using cars and automobiles became more relevant. So with that being said, these transitions take place, and they're neither good or bad. They're literally tools in our hands, and it's up to us with our head and our heart to do what's right with them. And that's Booker T. Washington. He said he wanted to develop to train the head, the heart, and the hands. So we must, with our trained and developed head and developed heart, use these tools. And this is the part of the evolution as we, as a startup, looking at the different tools that are available through technology and innovation, the latest technology. How do we apply those to solve uh, old problems that face our community? And in many ways, I Love Black People app and our, you know, upcoming launch October 4th, the focus is literally just that, using this technology to deal with the issue that we've been facing for at least 500 years, and that's racism and Afrophobia. These are issues that literally didn't really exist prior to that. Like even the construct of race is a fiction. You know, we as human beings are almost all alike. And so the construct, there's no scientific background in all this. It's literally done as a social construct. Afrophobia, like literally the delineation of different people on the continent of Africa. We welcome people from all over. You know, that was not something that was inherent in the behavior. So when you start looking at the world today, where we're got all these partitions and people calling people immigrants and where you come from, this is not how the world was started now. People moved and did what they did, and there was no context of saying you're something foreign to me. And how do we create collective without using, you know, violence? And I think in many ways these technologies such as Bitcoin and what we've been doing with I Love Black People connects people, leveraging technology in a way that's very peaceful. People choose to be a part of what we're doing. We never force people. It's never, no coercion. There's an affinity people have to uplift us as as a people, as a Pan African people, in a way that's very constructive. And to be able to leverage that unity to create solutions is one of the things that's, again, I think we're charged to do as a people. How can we leverage our interests to do something, our personal interests to do something for the collective good? And even when we talk about Pan Africanism, it's not, you know, again, everyone's, you know, thought process. And as I say often, you know, however you identify, we're not here to tell you what to call yourself. Whatever you say to call you, that's what we'll call you. And so oftentimes these conversations around identity can become quite triggering because we've been through quite a bit of trauma. And we just need to be kind to each other and lead with that. Again, Booker T. Washington said, "When develop the head, the heart, and the hand." So that kindness is that heart part that's important. You know, we say, "I heart Black people. I love Black people." The heart is very key in the development of us as a civilized people. So even if we disagree, we don't have to be disagreeable. And if you don't espouse or if you don't consider yourself Pan Africanist, that doesn't make you, you know, that just means that you identify in a different way. And that's, again, we're all different. And those differences should be embraced and not somehow seen as being problematic. So, with that being said, we also want to make sure we protect our community from those who would see these issues as being problematic, see being a Black person being problematic, or someone of African ancestry as being problematic. We must protect ourselves. So if deliberate things are being done to harm us, we should be doing deliberate things what to protect ourselves. So, in much of the work we're doing is just that. So now that we've done, you know, all these transitions, we're coming up on, you know, two great big dates. So the 26th and 27th is when we have the Black Blockchain Summit. Again, the legacy from the work we did as Bill Murray, working with our co-host John Caranja and our many of our other friends, Dr. Todd Shern, with the inspiration of Dr. Gary L. Harris, who passed away during COVID, who inspired our summit, and then also with the launch of our official launch of our app, the I Love Black People Safe Places app, with the support of my co-founder and leader, Mr. Christopher Mapindera. So we're September, we're going to move into the summit where we're going to be discussing, and many people have seen the price and the um, government regulation around crypto and Bitcoin increase. The prices increase, the attention has increased. We want to make sure that people don't get caught up in scams. We want to make sure our people don't get harmed. So it's important that we make sure that we use all of our time and energy and expertise to leverage that to protect our community from those things. When I say protect, is again, this space technology, you know, everyone, we want our people exposed to the information and make their own choices. If you get exposed to Bitcoin and choose not to use it, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, but let's be clear that you understand what it is and what it's not. And I think there's a lots of skepticism oftentimes. And I tell people, I think skepticism is great. I think that's, being in the United States, our families have gone through too much not to be skeptical of the United States and the things that are happening here. But we must, again, be, I think, skeptical of all these things, not just Bitcoin. Be skeptical of the Swift banking system, the checking account you have, the ATM. Like, why do you got to, go to this machine and why is it spitting out dollars? What's this chip on this card that allows you to swipe? Why does your phone allow you to swipe your phone so you can get groceries? People don't understand those things and still use them. Then they'll tell me they can't use Bitcoin because they don't understand it. I think it's reasonable to be skeptical. I'm just saying the consistency is probably also helpful because it ends up having contradictions or somewhat issues of hypocrisy. So again, our focus is making sure our people understand these technologies so they can no, make the most use of these technologies and inherently improve the quality of life of our community. We say we like to solve old problems with some of these new solutions. But if we're not the ones who understand or developing and creating and building these technologies, then the likelihood of these technologies being useful or helpful in solving our old problems is probably less likely. So what we need and what we suggest is that, again, taking the time that we have with the conference, the Black Blockchain Summit 26th, 27th at Howard University, go to blackblockchainsummit.com, blackblockchainsummit.com. You also can go to satoshiisblack.com and make sure you get your tickets and make sure you participate, share, let your friends know. Blackblockchainsummit.com. And we also now have on our website, we have a Bitcoin campus where we again are taking previous events that we've had and share information around different topics. So it's important that we have as many people who have questions, they go to the website and they can get answers to their questions. And we want to create a safe space for the questions and answers. There's lots of gimmicks and people trying to like promote things. And I don't think, again, in many ways, we're trying to create a sustainable environment. So you still got to eat, still got to take care of your family. So you want to make sure that you're able to do something that's super sustainable. But with that being said, it shouldn't be exploitive. It shouldn't be something that doesn't empower the people to understand how it impacts their lives in its totality. So again, definitely bullish on the Bitcoin space. But that being said, I'm more bullish on the Black folk space. Like, we want to make sure that all our people are lifted together in a way that's empowering. And we have the time, and we have this is the time, and we have the ability to do so. We just need to be committed to it, and it's not going to take as long as many people talk about. What's taking so long is the fact that we've had to fight this resistance, and we will continue to fight the resistance to the oppression of our people. But the uplifting that we're talking about, I think, in some ways, leveraging technology instead of being a consumer of it, by being a maker of it, we can use it as a tool to help us. Right now, we oftentimes are very passive and let, basically that the technology impact us, but we need to take charge. And that's what we're focused on with the Black Blockchain Summit. And that is something that we see as being key and an interest that we have that with the legacy of, like I said, Dr. Gary L. Harris, may he rest in peace, Howard University, and Dr. Todd Shern. These are things that we're able to do. And shout out, we had a very good intern this year for the Black Blockchain Summit, brother Tony Kenner, super great young man doing great work. Shout out Tony. And we're really in this position that we think that is if everybody does a little bit, no one has to do a lot. So make sure you come and participate. And we look like we're gonna have a little surprise. I think a special reception that we're gonna have before the summit that will send tickets to those who've special invites to for those who purchase tickets. So make sure you purchase your ticket. You purchase your ticket, and we will have some special invites for those who purchase their tickets prior to the actual summit. So make sure you go to blackblockchainsummit.com and get your ticket. And just 2 days, you have a great time. The amount that you'll learn, the people you'll be around while you're learning, are going to be some of the best and brightest in our communities. We definitely, just love the fellowship that comes out of our summit. It's unlike any other summit or any other tech event you go to because there's a sense of like a homecoming when people come together, and we're not trying to make people feel like the technology is so difficult to understand. We try to take all the acronyms out. We try to make sure it's very clear and plain what's happening. And it's not like a sales pitch where people are trying to sell you some new coin or some token and all these things that are often done in a scammy kind of icky way. We want you to really enjoy and good food. We always have good food too. Now we have great food. So when you come to our summit, just know we're gonna have some food, food for thought, and definitely food for your belly that is delicious. So make sure you participate and you really appreciate how much of a great opportunity it is to be a part of what we're doing because the things that we're doing here are super awesome, and to be able to enjoy the food and enjoy the the activities is a part of what we're doing. It's not and sometimes you have a good time as a byproduct. Our focus is making sure you enjoy the experience and the fellowship that we have been able to curate. Now this is our eighth conference, so this is number eight Black Blockchain Summit. So just know that we've been building, and for those who've been there in the past, come on back, come on Black. It's still a good time, and it's a technology that keeps evolving. So there's always something new, something for you to grow on, and there's always new people coming into the technology. If you're someone who wants to be a speaker and you've never spoken at a conference and you have something to say that you think is going to be critical, make sure you sign up and as a speaker, and we'll definitely review what you got to say and make sure that we give you a forum, an opportunity to be able to share in. So these are the things that we see are inherently our responsibility as those who've been in the space for years now. And how do we take that responsibility? We take it seriously, and that is how we try to be as good stewards and good supporters. We don't participate in generational chauvinism, so we're always vigilant on making sure as things change, we try to be as open as possible. And I say generational chauvinism, meaning that there's not some old OGs or some previous group that was better than the current group. We all stand on the shoulders of those that came before us, and they stand on the shoulders of those who came before them. So our focus is how do we just keep building on that energy in a way that is inspiring as well as encouraging. And so even when things are somehow looking doubtful or things aren't going your way, like and again in the space of Bitcoin, there's dips, it goes up and down. We say stay encouraged. If anything, this has taught us is to be encouraged. There will be days that things go down, but don't despair. We say make decisions out of encouragement, not discouragement, and use that energy that you're that's building up because of everything around you, and use it to focus you in a way that allows you to go in either new directions or again elevate the work that you're doing. So again, I say stay encouraged. We've been through so much as a people. I even hear people talking about the different um, uh, political administrations, and I just want to say, we've made it through so many things. We've been through so many genocides of our people, where literally things were being done to us that would have taken other people out, and they have. Like we've seen genocides in the United States. The indigenous people here, uh, and also us being brought here under these horrific consequences. We will not give up or surrender. And so when you think about our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and our brothers and sisters in the Sudan, our brothers and sisters in Haiti, brothers and sisters in the DRC, just we will never surrender our commitment to their humanity, uh, commitment to through these monetary policies or these currencies. We want to make sure that we're able to be uplifted and supported. And so the more we learn, the more we understand about these technologies and the systems that we live in, the more we will be empowered to do something about the world. And again, leave it in a much better place than in that we found it. That being said, as I always do, just want to say again, just thank everyone for being so supportive. And without you, we couldn't do this. I am because we are.
Help protect us from racism and xenophobia by becoming an I Love Black People ambassador today. Join on iloveblackpeople.com. No matter where you are in the world, join us today and get access to the I Love Black People network. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.